Jake Paul. All day, every day.
Why?
Just think he knocks him out cold.
Would you be willing to take the bet with Tyson Fury that's saying that Jake is going to beat you?
No, I'm not worried about what Tyson Fury's got to say. That's what I'm saying. It ain't even about the money. I'm betting on myself. Yep. I'm focusing on myself. I'm fully betting on myself. I ain't worried about what anyone's got to say.
So when I'm bouncing around the ring, jabbing, weaving, and doing all of these things, I know I can pick them apart and score points and make this a very, very big contest.
Reports say Tyson Fury shocked everyone by suddenly interrupting the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul press conference, instantly changing the atmosphere. With cameras rolling, Fury warned Joshua not to underestimate Jake Paul, claiming Paul has the power, discipline, and self-belief to cause an upset. He even said he would bet £1 million on Paul to win, a statement that sent shockwaves through fans and pundits.
Talk about possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look. Bit chubby, bit bulky. I like how Jake Paul calls that full spectrum from featherweight to heavyweight.
Anthony Joshua fired back at Tyson Fury's bold £1 million bet on Jake Paul knocking him out, saying he's unfazed by outside noise. Joshua made it clear he doesn't care about bets or hype. His focus is solely on himself and getting the job done in the ring. He dismissed Fury's wager as meaningless, insisting he backs himself, not gambling. Joshua said he'll fight, collect his paycheck, and move on without entertaining side distractions.
Would you be willing to take the bet with Tyson Fury that's saying that Jake is going to beat you?
No, I'm not worried about what Tyson Fury's got to say. That's what I'm saying. It ain't even about the money. I'm betting on myself. Yep. I'm focusing on myself. I'm fully betting on myself. I ain't worried about what anyone's got to say.
He did say he's going to put £1 million on it. Would you be willing to take that bet with Tyson Fury?
Respectfully, I'm not worried about what Tyson Fury's got to say, or I'm not here for any of that betting and nonsense. I'm here to fight, and that's all it is. Once I get the job done, I'm going to collect my check, cash it, and I'm going to focus on the next one. My bet is on me doing a number on him. That's all there is to it.
Jake Paul claims he can beat Anthony Joshua, arguing that Joshua struggles against smaller fighters and that this gives him an edge. Analysts, including Henry from a boxing podcast, reviewed Joshua's past bouts with shorter opponents and noted certain patterns. However, their breakdown shows that Joshua's technique, power, and reach usually neutralize any size-related issues. While Paul points to a perceived weakness, experts stress that Joshua's experience makes him a major challenge regardless.
I'm going to tell you what Anthony Joshua definitely doesn't struggle, and that's against guys who are of a similar stature to him. When he won his first world title against Charles Martin, he was a taller heavyweight, not taller than AJ necessarily, but a heavyweight of taller stature, and he got that one with a very simple knockout. It was one of the easiest fights of Anthony Joshua's career. He had a war against Vladimir Klitschko, but again, he was highly competitive and eventually managed to get Klitschko out of there. In the Kubrat Pulev fight, while it was a mixed performance, he did end up producing one of his best knockouts. Similarly against Robert Helenius, whilst AJ probably didn't put in one of his best performances again, it ended in another dramatic knockout. He was punch perfect against Otto Wallin, in my opinion, and he had that absolutely devastating knockout win against Francis Ngannou, who, of course, an absolutely enormous man with a fantastic chin, or so it seemed until Anthony Joshua got his hands on him. Even earlier on in his career against the likes of White, Brazil, and Molina, these were all taller heavyweights who AJ dealt with consummate ease. Of course, most recently he had that loss against Daniel Dubois, but we can't say that Daniel Dubois is a shorter heavyweight.
Jake portrays himself as a fearless contender ready for any test, though he clearly understands the huge size gap with Joshua. He jokes about having to look up just to meet AJ's eyes, but still tries to project his usual confidence. He wants fans to believe self-belief alone can carry him against a former champion who has beaten elite opponents. Jake frames the matchup as an example of courage and ambition for young fighters.
Of the year, you, Anthony Joshua, how we doing?
Dude, never been better. This is what I dreamed of. This is what I manifested into reality. I'm here to shock the world, inspire the next generation, We're in the Heat arena. I'm a big Heat fan. Miami's on fire. This is my first pro fight, was in Miami against Gibb. I'm bringing that same energy here. First round KO.
And the Schmo interviewed you there. When you fought Gibb, it was on Fight TV. We've been with you along the way. Not very many times you're looking up at a face-off. So what did you make of looking up for one of the very first times at a face-off right here?
Just looking up at Daddy there and just seeing, how big he is, and just my eyes were kind of going into his nipples and stuff, which I kind of liked. And then basically I was just like, whoa, he's big in that. And then, I can't believe how tall he is.
Is this chain really on the line for the winner?
I don't know if it's confirmed, but I'm down. But he has to put something up too. There has to be something in it for me.
You say this is the biggest upset that's going to be in boxing history, right up there with 42-1 with Buster Douglas.
Yep.
What is the headline going to be when you knock this guy out and he's laying on the canvas?
Matchroom CEO Frank Smith has stirred new debate over the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, arguing that the event leans more towards spectacle than genuine competition. According to Smith, the matchup is crafted for entertainment value, prioritizing shock and commercial appeal rather than true boxing credibility. By calling it serious entertainment, he questioned how authentic or competitive the bout can really be. Smith also addressed the long-anticipated Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua fight, calling it the biggest matchup the sport can offer. He expressed optimism that the blockbuster clash could finally happen by 2026. However, he cautioned that boxing often involves big talk with few guarantees, and many obstacles, contracts, negotiations, and timing must be overcome before the dream fight becomes a reality.
Sorry, just to silence all the doubters here. A lot of people saying this can't be real. Anthony Joshua going in there, it must be an exhibition, or Anthony Joshua's it's going to be choreographed, and Anthony's going to carry him through a couple of rounds. I know Anthony Joshua. Just to silence all those doubters, he's going to go in there to do a job, right?
It's 100% real. It's 100% real. People ask him, why is it 8 rounds, not 10? Because I don't think it goes past the first round. So it's, regardless, it's quite irrelevant. I think he steps across the ring and knocks him out, but we're in for a bit of fun and everyone's going to be tuning in.
It might not be fun for Jake Paul. I mean, it's serious entertainment, is it?
Yeah, 100%. Look, I agree with you. I accept Jake Paul is absolutely mental for doing this, and I don't think he quite realizes. I think he's got people around him who actually are saying, Anthony Joshua's chinny. He said it in interviews. It's quite wild, but if that's the world he wants to live in, he'll find out on December 19th.
And Frank, to finish with, the plan is still sometime in 2026, AJ against Tyson Fury, and Turki Al-Sheikh's working on that, is he?
That's the fight we want to make. That's the fight we want to see. Look, we're all guilty of doing a lot of talking over the years and that not happening. So I don't want to talk too much, but that is definitely what we want to see in 2026.
Joe Rogan believes the matchup is extremely dangerous, calling it one of the wildest fight ideas in years. He stresses that Joshua's size, power, and championship-level experience make him a serious threat for Jake Paul. Rogan doubts any contract limits can reduce Joshua's danger, saying nothing can neutralize his skill or knockout power. He points to Joshua's KO of Francis Ngannou as proof of the risk Paul faces. For Rogan, that knockout is a clear warning. Stepping in with Joshua isn't just bold, it could end very badly for Jake Paul.
Paul Anthony Joshua.
Boy. Well, realistically, it's one of the craziest propositions of all time. You take a guy who just had a boxing match that looks like a sparring match with a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, and then you're going to fight one of the absolute scariest knockout artists in the heavyweight division. Maybe we should watch the Francis Ngannou fight so you could see. Let's watch that real quick, just so you can see what Anthony Joshua is capable if he's fighting someone that's not in his league. Okay, look, Usyk beat him, and he beat him twice, and Andy Ruiz caught him in the first fight and dropped him and stopped him. It was spectacular. Andy Ruiz is super fucking talented. Usyk is perhaps the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time. Maybe one of the greatest of all time in any weight class. Usyk. And Usyk beat him, and he beat him twice. But Francis Ngannou is coming off of this fight with, like, go a little bit before that so we can see this happen. Watch this.
Highlights, we can't watch the whole fight.
So he drops him with a right hand early. And this is like 2 minutes into the first round. And Francis gets up. He survives. And then Joshua, check out this combination he hits him with. I mean, dude, the speed that he hits him with this, he's so dangerous, man. It's like you're dealing with a guy who's an Olympic gold medalist, and he's enormous, and he's got vicious knockout power, and he's got immense amount of experience at world-class levels. Just think about what we said earlier. Fought Usyk twice. Fought Andy Ruiz twice.
Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen have raised serious concerns about Jake Paul's mindset ahead of his fight with Anthony Joshua. They argue that Paul's confident talk and bold callouts may reveal a failure to grasp just how dangerous Joshua truly is. In their view, Paul's inexperience in the massive leap in competition could spell disaster if he's underestimating the challenge. While some admire Paul's courage, Schaub and Callen insist this fight requires discipline and respect, qualities they fear Jake may be overlooking. Even so, a few analysts claim Paul could still have a puncher's chance to knock Joshua out.
Sparring, getting hit, that you just know. You're talking about Olympic gold medalist. I don't think people understand how good Anthony Joshua is. They see him against Usyk or they see him against Ruiz, and they're like, oh, he lost. And they think somehow that because he's nice, that he's not an absolute killer.
I don't think everyone knows that, B.
A lot of people are like,
You're hanging out with the wrong people then. I mean.
6'6", 245. Let me just say this. It's a different ecosystem. Look, Jake's a thick kid. 227 is a lot. It's heavy. He's big. He's athletic. But this is different. You're not Usyk. You ain't Usyk.
Jesus.
You're talking about a very different athlete.
Do you want me to go now?
Please.
With all your rambling here?
Please.
Dude, first of all, before I go in on the cojones on Jake Paul, you have got to.
That's what I said.
Whatever the fuck your criticism of the guy is, whatever. The cojones, the huevos on this fucking kid.
I agree.
To step in there with fucking Anthony Joshua is insane. He deserves all the money.
With 14 ounce.
And what he's doing is flipping boxing on its fucking head. And this is exactly what he's there for. He's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. Kudos to him. Kudos to him.
100%.
Now, what bothers me is when you and other people go, I mean, Jake's 6'1", 227. I mean, it's insane. The other guy's 6'6". Jake could be 6'10".
I know.
300
I'm very
pounds
aware
of
of
shredded.
this.
What you guys are missing the mark on is Anthony Joshua is a gold medal winner in the Olympics.
And high level professional. High level.
No, hold on. World champion. So I don't like it when we're talking like, dude, he's
It's
so
not
much,
a physical
so much
thing,
bigger.
it's a skill thing.
So I'll say this, and I'm not saying it's a fake fight. It's rigged, especially because you got Eddie Hearn involved, and they're using 10-ounce gloves,
10-ounce
which is a
gloves.
big deal, and it's 3-minute rounds. 10-ounce gloves.
It's terrifying.
That's what you do in professional boxing, heavyweight boxing, which those do nothing, by the way.
They do nothing.
What you guys need to understand is, if this fight's not fixed, no one's taking a fall, cut all that narrative out. But I will tell you this. If Anthony Joshua decides to take this as serious as...
One notable voice is former world champion and trainer Buddy McGirt, who believes the fight is more competitive than many expect. McGirt views Paul's progress as a heavyweight as genuine and says the matchup is close to even, pointing to both fighters' size, reach, and power as potential game changers. He stresses that in heavyweight boxing, one clean shot can shift everything, giving an underdog like Paul a real chance if Joshua leaves an opening. While Joshua remains the clear favorite due to his experience and pedigree, McGirt argues that Paul's dedication, improvement, and fearless approach make a surprise knockout possible.